That's good enough. Hey, morning everyone. I'm in a hotel room here in Sunjai, Patani. So I'm about 60 miles away from Alor Sitar. So good morning. Who's here? We got Flea and we got Ali. And anybody else want to say good morning? Go ahead. So yeah. I'm back on the West Coast, guys. I made it. I decided I should do a live stream since I missed yesterday's. I have a ACS. Good to see you, my brother. How you doing? I'm more just waking up. I haven't had any coffee, so I'm doing a cold shake coffee. I was able to get my over at the 99 speed mark, I was able to get this one again with the ginseng in it. I like this type. There's two of them that I actually like the best. Is the one with the ginseng and even a small amount of ginseng. I know they only use a small amount. It just makes you feel good, you know. They work like vitamin B. Makes you just generally just makes you feel better. And and it's like if you do too much vitamin D or something, you just end up peeing it out. It doesn't really affect you negatively where like you get real sick or something. Like if you do too much vitamin C or something. So let's see what we got here. Walaikum salam, Ali. You get your bike repaired? Oh yeah. I'll go ahead and give a spoiler on that one, guys. Yeah, I got it. I have the video ready for yesterday. I just didn't drop it yesterday. I actually had a video do good yesterday. So it's probably because I used the word danger or whatever, right? Dangerous road. But it got like 1,000 views within the first hour or two of being up. And that's crazy because usually I max out around 1,000 views. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Because with that, it's that initial hump to get over. Like if enough people watch it, then the algorithm notices enough people are actually watching it, and it pushes it out to a larger crowd, which causes more people to watch it, right? But if you don't get that if people are not giving it a thumbs up, and they're not sharing it and they're not subscribing, then the algorithm just says, oh, his content must suck. Because the algorithm is just trying to judge by what the initial first group is, and that would be my subscribers. So if my subscribers are initially starting a video and stopping it, it does have, it does get pushed out a little bit past my subscribers, but not, by a small amount. And if it's just like if it's not being noticed, then so it's like what would you say, a snowball effect, like one little snowball going down a mountain just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So which is good because that causes, so you see that. I think if you look at Let's Go Cycling, it was his earlier videos were like 700 views and stuff like this, but then at one point, I think around the elephant time, he just had the snowball effect, and he just blew up real big, and that's pretty awesome. So anyway, that was kind of unique. So I decided I was going to try and push it out at the same time today to see if that had any effect. I could have just technically threw up the video last night at, I think it was like 12:30, like midnight. A little past midnight is when I finished up with the thumbnail and stuff. But I decided to sit on it, and I'll throw it up after this, after, what is it, that'll be around close to 11 o'clock. I'll just throw it up then. That should be late enough in the day. But if you look in the YouTube studio, you can actually see the time when most people are actually watching my videos, and it is around the 3 o'clock time, Malaysian time. If it was more like 10 p.m. or something, then it would mean probably more of my audience was from America, but it seems to be most of my audience is here in Malaysia. It's like 98% or 99% all guys that watch it, and So Ali, you're actually one of the few females. I think I can count about maybe 4 or 5 that I know that actually watch my channel. So you're standalone. Good morning, good morning. I'm here. Hey, Doug's here. All right, brother. I was wondering about you. You kind of went silent for a day. I figured you'd probably be editing. I watched your last video. I think it was actually your podcast I was catching up on the other day. And you were talking about going out with your friend and, who's a YouTuber, which is good because they'll be happy to be on camera, and stuff like this, and how you judge everything, that you do through the lens of creation, content creation and stuff. And I've noticed that a lot too. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of, it's nice to hear that, because it's a weird world doing content creation. It's like, I don't know about you, but I don't ever leave. I always have, I have to always have my camera in my pocket, but I never take a break from the camera. It's always in my pocket. It's always, looking at everything like, should I film this? Should I not? And if you go too filming happy, like you start filming everything, then at the end of the day, you're every time you hit record, just think that's another bit that you're going to actually have to edit at the end anyway. Just the transfer time, taking it from my phone over to my, from my camera to my phone takes time. And then the processing time to save all my work after editing and stuff. It's crazy how just doing trying to create content, it just consumes your whole life. Your off time, you don't have off time anymore. You just basically hand over your whole life to YouTube. And yeah, it was kind of interesting listening you talk about that. And just because I'm in the same boat. Now you've been doing it a lot longer than me. So it's kind of like, so I value your opinion of, yeah, this doesn't change. It doesn't get any easier. This is how it always is. You just sold your soul to the devil. That devil's called YouTube. But no, it's, okay, you survived despite a broken bike. Yes, hopefully that's the drama that I have. That's, but it makes but really, I'm just faking it so I have something to film. These parts aren't really broken. And it's not actually raining half the time. I just, I have someone hold a hose and they're just shooting the water over. No, these things just seem to happen all at once. Like in Vietnam when I had flat tires, flat tire, flat tire, flat tire, flat tire, And then after it stopped flat tires, it was spokes. It was broken spokes, broken spoke, broken spoke, broken spoke, to the point where my back tire was dangerously didn't have enough, I went over the limit of what's safe on broken spokes. Yeah, so it's funny how all these things just happen at once. So it was the bottom bracket, got that replaced. And then I think Puka Life misunderstood. There was a defect in the bottom bracket though. So when the guy pulled it out, he showed me the defect. And it was basically, so the bottom bracket on the old one, that's why the clicking, when I said the clicking came back, it was because it literally did come back because there was a defect when I first got it. And anyway, that's probably why I don't know, I'm not gonna say that's why he sold it to me for cheaper, but yeah, it was just defective bottom bracket. And then the flywheel went out. So today's video, after this, I'll set it up. I'll put it out. You guys all go watch it. Watch the whole thing too. That way it gets pushed out to more people. That's what I don't like is, okay, when the video is brand new, even as me, so if I click on my video, I need to stay on the video even in 2-speed or whatever to at least 80% of it. Because if I click on it, it starts up, and then I back out of the video to go do something. Like when I'm editing, I do this by accident because I'll end up clicking on the video and it starts up. I'm like, no, I don't want to start up the video. I back out of it. So it shows that one viewer dropped out after 1 minute of watching. So that impacts your video, especially when it's brand new, negatively. So if you have a group of people, friends or family, that you want to send it to them while it's still unlisted and they watch at least 80% or better, that marks, even though it's unlisted, it does actually mark it down as a larger retention time. So these are just things I'm learning. So I accidentally a lot of times will hit like, I'm like, so I mean, I'm negatively impacting just trying to edit my video, put in all the information and stuff like that. Sometimes I'm negatively impacting my video just because I accidentally click on it and start it up and then back out of it. So, so that's just something I've found out from, I think Dan the Creator is a very good one to listen to. I think that's who I learned it from. Rob the Maritiner is another one. He's very down to earth on his talks and stuff. So yeah, that's been fixed. I'm here. I'm actually only 60 kilometers outside of Lower Sitar, but at 11 o'clock, the sun's out now. So over in the Telegram group, which is open to anybody, look in the description of the videos if you want to join up. I showed you that there was no weather now, but at 11 o'clock it's calling for like 94% chance of rain. So at 11 o'clock I'm going to see how hard it's actually coming down, if I want to stay another day here or ride through the rain. But it's one or the other. I think it's almost positive it's going to rain. All right. That's the thing is so if it does start raining, if I have to look up cheap hotels. I don't mind going 60 kilometers in the rain, as long as I have I'll be soaked when I get there. But if there's like a Lursa Sitar, I have to. So after this, I get off, start checking for cheap accommodations, and as long as there's somewhere I can, get to, take a warm shower, whatever like that, then I don't mind pushing through the rain. But there's a gap. So it's rainy today. It's not calling for rain tomorrow, but then for the rest of the week there is. So if I stay one more day here, I might be able to, but that could change, So they're calling for no rain tomorrow, so I don't know. At 11 o'clock we'll see how hard it's raining. You can drink alcohol. I know you like to drink Ali Cafe. Is that what that is? Yeah, Ali Cafe. It's got the ginseng, especially also got for men's dish. It's got Tongkat Ali. What is that? It's for men's testosterone booster. Like an all-natural testosterone booster, huh? Okay. I had to look into that. I don't know what that is exactly, but I'll look into it. Yeah, I don't. Okay, I'll look into that. I think the elephants and tigers in the thumbnail that attracted a click. YouTube can recommend, but click bait thumbnails are finally pushed into a click to view. Yeah, so yeah, the main thing is your title and your thumbnail. Honestly, it is. But the thing is, it's also CS. It's also one of the harder things to figure out because you don't want to be dishonest. Because if you're too dishonest, I saw one guy. He just put the same woman character with big, and all that in his videos, and it's weird because it's just a silent walkthrough video. So a silent walking video is like where you're just walking through the town and you have your GoPro on and you're not saying anything. You're just walking through the different areas of town. And and he put on his, it must have worked once for him because he puts the same woman on each one. Now you just ruined your channel. You're not going to have any loyal subscriber base because you're just going to. So there's a fine line. Someone got upset when I changed started using AI on my thumbnails. And he said, well, you can lose your loyal, fan base. And I'm like, yeah, but that's 0.04% of my viewers are actually viewers that watch, all my videos or the majority of my videos. Remember, in YouTube Studio, they track every video you guys watch, where you're coming, what your other subscriptions are, and stuff like that, and they give that information to us through their analytics. It more or less saying who's women, who's men, what they watch, what channels, and then my channel compares to these channels, and what these people do is what I should also be doing. And so, yeah, it's only like 0.04%. So I understand with his reasoning, but it's like all my old videos that didn't really have thumbnails and stuff. They're still only sitting at a few hundred views, and and it shows, and it's also the interest base, like KS, what is it, KL Car Free. And there's a lot of people that want to watch about KL because they're in KL and they want to see what's being talked about KL. So that video had a lot. And believe it or not, my biggest video was just the one a few days ago, CS. So you are completely correct, because of the lions, tigers, and most dangerous highway, I think it was what it was called. And honestly, if you watch the video, I don't really run into any of those. I don't see a lion, I don't see a tiger, and I lucked out pretty well the whole time. I mean, the possibility was always there. Like I stopped and filmed one where it showed the sign of the elephant, and right next to it you saw something big went through there. I saw the poop on the ground, at least twice I saw elephant poop on the ground. Yeah, so I mean, the potential, the danger was always there, and that was causing me more high anxiety. And then you had the traffic. You could see more than anything, you just see where all the side rails were just taken out everywhere. On this side and that side, they're just destroyed. And it's not like they're just forgotten about, because you can see the new ones been replaced, and none of the old crumpled ones are like rusted at all. They're like, oh, that was a brand new one that just got smacked, and there's another one. So it was kind of high anxiety. And then let's go cycling. The fact is, I met the same officer that talked to him, and the next following day he ran into an elephant. So just knowing that it's that common, and so it's very common. I just happened to thread the needle and got right through it without seeing any of those things. Now, I did have a monkey attack me the other day. He didn't like me getting too close on the bicycle, and I said, "Hey, buddy," and he just went, and I had to lift him my feet because he was coming right at my feet. And yeah, he backed off right at this last second, but I thought he was gonna bite my ass. And it was a decent sized monkey, and he's telling me to, I wasn't welcome. And they were all alongside the road. I just didn't get them on video. All right, let me catch up on these real quick. Yeah. So yeah, Doug, you noticed the same thing. The words danger, risk, madness. These are all trigger words, right? But the fact is it's also, I'm describing the road. I'm not describing what actually I ran into that day. But you can see where it's a very fine line to tap dance on, because if you are saying, if you're clickbait material and YouTube catches you doing the clickbait material, they won't push out your stuff at all, right? So you can get through the initial phase of clickbait, making everybody jump on, but if they jump on and they are not satisfied and they jump back off, then the retention level is very low, and then YouTube will see the retention level, even though everybody's clicking on it, retention is very short, and they stop pushing it out for that reason. So yeah, it's so that's why they say, if you whatever your title says, right, you want to satisfy that title within the first few minutes of your video. So it's whatever your title is, you want to satisfy. You don't want to name your video something that happens at the very end, which I have a tendency to do, and because they're like, I don't know why it's titled this, because it's not even, so you want to satisfy that curiosity up front, but still leave a question for them to continue on through the whole thing. So yeah, these are just things, it's like you got to learn them. That's why I'm hoping a little downtime, because I got about 4 weeks left. Well, a little less than 4 weeks. But maybe spend some downtime just educating myself on a lot of this stuff, trying to make my channel a little bit better. It's hard to do when you're trying to do a daily vlog. Good morning, Hobo. Abu, how you doing? Good morning, Hobo Jason. Thanks and grateful to God you're safe surviving the town. Yeah, so I'm in Sunjai Patani right now. Second largest town in Kedah State. Yeah, I noticed a lot of things are Kedah, so I think Kedah is a pretty big location. I got to Google how big it is. You should use your second phone to view it if you are using your primary phone for something else. To view what? Oh, the comments? Yeah, I should. Actually, since I got Wi-Fi, I should. I don't know. I forgot I have Wi-Fi. Um, some travel YouTubers find a balance between work and life. Mark Travels, for example, has popular videos, yet he doesn't film much and does very little, just rides his motorcycle and that's it. I mean, good luck, Sanjay. Pattaya is about 40 kilometers north of Georgetown. Yeah, but I'm going to be going above Georgetown to Alor Setar, which is 59 kilometers away. It's a day's travel. Rain causes the motor vehicles to be more dangerous due to poor visibility, slippery roads, and poor driver skills, so they can crash into you. Yeah, and so one thing, that's why I got off the road and put on my helmet, because what it is it's two lanes, but when you're going uphill, when it's going uphill it's two lanes, going downhill is one lane. So people get stuck behind the trucks, but as soon as it starts going up, everybody swings around that truck on the uphills, right? Try and get by them. Well, if I'm on the side with no shoulder, right, and a lot of times with the grass, it could be even, but it could also be that thick of grass. So when you go off to the side, you end up, going in a big old, it feels like you're dropping into a hole. But what would happen is the people would be going, as soon as the two lanes open up, they would see me and then swerve around me. Well, the person that's riding right on his butt has less reaction time. So by the time this person swerves around me, the next person's reaction time is shorter, and then he swerves around me, and the following person's even shorter, and then that next person is even shorter, so they get closer and closer and closer until they're basically nearly skimming me. The only thing that's keeping me at a safe distance is I'm trying to ride the white line. I'm not actually, most people you see riding a bicycle, they take up within the first 2 feet right on the right hand side of the actual line, because most spots, most places, at least from America, a bicycle has the same rights as a car. So a car cannot force you off the road, because you have just as much right to be on the road as they do. You just can't be on the freeways. Basically you can't be on the freeways, and they don't want you on the highway. Well, the highways, you can't get around that. Some roads are just all highways. So it's the freeways that you're not allowed, because that's like the toll roads there. So that's why I had to get off the road, is because they were getting closer and closer and closer to the point of, just nearly brushing me. So I had to get off, because it was they didn't have enough reaction time. And the lines of them were just so long because of the construction work. I was like, what the hell's going on here? And then I realized, there must be construction work going on both sides, because these lines are just non-stop. So, Flea, I need some type of breakthrough that's what happened. So the video that got 5,000 views is within a day, had all the danger with the pictures of the elephants and all this, right? Dangerous highway. So it was describing the highway, so it wasn't too clickbaity, so I don't mind that. But what that did was it also gave me a surge of an extra 100 subscribers too, because now the content was pushed out more, and And then people were like, oh, I didn't know about this channel, right? So I ended up with 100 more subscribers, which is good. Because most of my subscribers are pretty solid, you know? I can count like how many people are religiously watch my shorts, you know, not my shorts. I don't, shorts are advertisement. But the ones that within a day or two, now I know there's like the super fans like Flea, Ali, you know, I have CS is here all the time. Daily Thrive is like, yeah, that's, I have certain ones that are just super active. But then I do also have like my loyal base that sits silently in the background, like David, which is Puka Life. He's been with me from the very beginning. He likes to sit back and watch my videos, and you know, he used to be active. Sometimes he pops up and just says hi, which, you know, I very much appreciate these people too. But if I count just the videos, like how many people are actually watching my videos, I have steady at least like 200 to 300 that are like more or less immediately watch my videos when they're posted within like, let's say, the first few days. But then it tapers off around 1,000. So having that extra little bit of boost, it helps out. You know, it's one of those things you got to silently sit in the corner until, silently sit into the corner until, you know, we have more or less a breakthrough video. But watching Dan the Creator, one of his videos the other day, which I like his videos, he said there's only a 6% chance of being monetized, right? So if I was to actually just sit back, like I can watch people like Let's Go Cycling, which has 14,000 subscribers, and he started basically the same time as me. Content very familiar, similar, same location, all this, and it's like, well, what's he doing? You know, how does he get like 18,000 views within one day of actually having his video up, right? And I think really it's just, and he talks very little. You know, he does very little editing, meaning he does a cut and stuff. And if you look in his description of his videos, he doesn't have a description in his videos at all, right? I think he just got pushed out to a certain crowd that just, you know, he just hit that perfect location, and you know, he was discovered pretty quickly. But the fact is I look at that and it's like, there's no reason for me to actually, you know, be envious, you know, or something like, you know, be green with envy, because the fact is I hit the 6% of monetization, and that is, so I just had to be happy with my growth being slower. That's all it is. So yeah, 6%, that's, I hit that, I'm good. Now I just need a steady growth. Okay, let's see what I'm missing here in the comments, guys. Hi, bro. Any drama on the road? Let's see. What was yesterday's? No, I think yesterday's was just yesterday's video, which I'll post right after this. It was kind of just a short 20-minute video because it was just me fixing the parts that needed to get fixed, right? And yeah, just rolling over here and getting a hotel room because I figured the weather was going to go bipolar on me, and I was, after all taxes, this was like $11 a night, which is right in my range, but after taxes it comes out to 15. My big thing is I'm going to see what the rain's going to be like at 11 o'clock. So yes, there are lurkers who just view content like movies. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. There's actually, so there's a very like the people that I started with, I know I still have a few of them just sitting in the background. But when my channel was very, very small, they were more active just because there was no one active at all within the chat room. And so I know I didn't lose them all. But sometimes it's hard to tell because some people are only interested in the country that they're in. Like I'm pretty sure I lost a few of my Vietnam viewers just because they were only interested in Vietnam. I'm pretty sure Malaysia will be the same way. If I leave Malaysia, they'll probably lose a pretty big base because they're not interested in Indonesia or wherever I might go next, you know. So all these things. Hi, sir. Hey, let's see. Brewery Coffee. Brewery Coffee. How are you doing this morning? Well, I don't know. Where are you from? It might be evening for you. What's another hobo channel from USA? Let's see. Have you watched Eric Comp C? No, look him up. As you said, he's another hobo channel from the USA. Yeah, I'll look up. So Eric Comp. Okay, I'll try and remember that name. There's like a few people. So most of the dirty kids and stuff like this, the dirty kids being the train riders, and just the train riders, the steel riders in general. Not a lot of them are actually carrying around cameras and filming themselves. Hobo Stobe was like one of the very first persons that had his camcorder, right? And filming and documenting all his journeys, and he documented the hell out of the railroad tracks. He showed he showed the life of a more or less a hobo. You know how it's just basically you go town to town, you stop, you drink, right? You know, that's the main thing is you go get your step twos everywhere you go. Yeah, you grab your beers, and you basically a lot of it's just waiting at the tracks, you know, trying to find. He also showed that, you know, the use of walkie-talkies basically to listen in on the traffic that's going on the yards and stuff like that, to try and figure out when the train's powering up and get ready to go, you know, and stuff like this. But then you also have like Shoestrings, a legit person that decided to start documenting his life a little. But you didn't have a whole abundance of real steel riders, real, you know, rail people, just because it's a camera, man. It's a valuable item, and those items, one, can get stolen from you, living the life that you are. Basically, stuff gets stolen. That's why you travel in a group. But two, the elements you're always in, you know, it can easily get damaged. It can, you know, all these things. Stove the Hobo actually had a home base that he went back to a lot, but he traveled a lot. He traveled. He documented the hell out of the journeys on the trains in the United States, and you know, eventually he died at a very young age because he went between the rails, and yeah, so that was unfortunate. There was talk that it was too much gear or something like that, you know, but he had a big impact on me stoking myself up, because I started riding the rails later on in life, but I was like a rubber rider and a hitchhiker and all this stuff when I was younger, and I was around that crowd all the time. But I never actually rode the rails. I just was around a lot of the tramps and stuff like that. They're like, you need to ride rails. You got to be a true hobo. You know, you got to. Well, tramp actually is the proper. We don't have hobos anymore. The hobos were back in the days, but you can, if you refer yourself as a hobo, it's out of respect of the people that came before, because technically no one's actually really riding the rails around looking for work like they used to. Now they're just riding the rails to have fun and live a life. Hey, thank you, Daily Thrive. Just gave a $2 New Zealand dollars. Hey, let me like it this time. Hot dang. Normally, last time I kept hitting the buttons, it didn't work. Daily Thrive, you've been very, very active on the super thanks, brother, and it hasn't gone unnoticed. And I think I should stop and say that, because I haven't set up a lot of things like the channel memberships and stuff. One is because I feel awkward about trying to make anything on a pay for a basis, because I just kind of want everything to be out there free for whoever. Two, I know some people can't afford it, you know, like me. I I couldn't really afford to be. But at the same time, I know there's a. At the same time, it's just I don't have the like. So it's like, okay, well, what if I offer up membership and stuff like this, and I let them early viewing of my videos while I'm still working on title and thumbnail and stuff like this or whatever. Like my have something like the Telegram group or something like that. Eventually, that might be better. Like later on when I'm no longer able to keep up with comments and stuff like this, that have direct connection to like where people can talk to me. But once you start taking that initial step of like even doing membership, they're like, okay, what do you want to do? You want to do private chats with members and all this, and then you have to open up Steam Element. You need to either get Steam Element, so I got Steam Element. You got to set up the Steam Element, and you got to set these things up. And honestly, it's just doing the daily thing is I need some downtime to even set up any of these things. So I really do appreciate that people have been using, especially you Daily Thrive. It hasn't gone unnoticed that the super thanks, because between the super thanks, the one thing I do have set up, and the income from what am I thinking? From I think it's 55% is revenues off ad share. So my first paycheck was $121, guys, so per month. And just because be transparent, because some of you guys are interested. I used to list down everything I spent and stuff, and so if you ever want to know how much I spent, go back to those videos and watch. I was like, but the fact is like even if you ask, I think Doug was asked from Planet Doug, he was asked, someone was like, how much do you spend on this and that, and his comment, and Doug answered it the same way that I do, is you know where your limit is, right? And how much it is requirement to keep that level of comfort that you're after, right? And then you just choose the cheapest option constantly within that racket, right? So you choose the cheapest, usually the rooms. I go for the cheap room. Doug just has a small step up above me, but he's pretty well, because the faster you go through your money, the faster you're going to have to go back and join in in the work world. And that's the same with me. Yeah, I'm a homeless hobo, but it's I also found value in a nest egg. Nest egg meaning a small bank account, of a few $1,000s. It's I used to always just be the amount that I made off my check went straight into my belly and into my lifestyle, and I had at the end of the month nothing. But then when I worked for 3 years living in that tent in Tennessee, and I started saving for that piece of property because the COVID kind of gave me a scare, and I'm like, well, I want at least to have something I can call my own. Technically it wouldn't be because of property taxes, but if I stop paying property taxes, they take it away from me. So technically, I don't own that property. It's just, whoever is able to legally take that property away from you, they're the true owners. So it'd be the U.S. government. So anyway, so that's how I ended up with the bird's nest. For all you guys that don't know, all this was on an earlier video, because when people come into first channel, they right off the bat, they want to know what kind of camera you're using usually. How do you make your money? These are just extremely common questions that get asked, and you understand why, but the fact is anybody can do this, and it doesn't take money. You can do it, you don't need thousands of dollars, but you do need a few thousand. You should put a few thousand in your bank account. But me, technically, I would leave usually I just go out traveling with maybe $100 in my pocket, $300 in my pocket, figure it out, beg along the way. I begged a lot. Before I had a check, I was flying signs, and you will learn how to survive. You go to soup kitchens, right? Ali, you know about the soup kitchens. They're great. They even if you just go to a soup kitchen to meet other people, and talk, There's some really good, cool homeless people out there, and you also meet people that are on like a limited, income, like retirees and stuff. So I wouldn't just, you don't have to be homeless to go to a soup kitchen and just kind of meet people. So, but you learn to live a lifestyle. But if you want, you could do it with $10,000 or less easy. So work, save up, like, I know people that go back to England, they work like a few months and then they go back down to Morocco. And then the rest of the year, they just kick back, smoke hashish and, eat and stuff until they run out of money. And then they go back up to England, work a few more months. And that's kind of the vagabond traveler there. That's a true hobo right there. Anyway, let me do some catch up here. Yeah, the word homeless is a trigger word. Hobo is more of a trigger word. That's what at least the analytics tell me. You'll probably need about 10K subscribers before you can start a successful membership system. Yeah, I think so too, Flea. I think I can wait to do memberships. But there's what's called the exclusion. Like some people like the exclusion level, meaning super thanks. Sometimes it's like with a membership, instead of doing like a super thanks, with a membership, it feels like they're getting something back and they're part of an exclusive club and stuff. And some people really like that. At least these are the videos I'm watching that are educating me. So anything I spewed out of my mouth usually came from a video. So it doesn't mean it's right. It just means that's what I heard. So yeah, I think I can wait on any type of until my membership, until my subscriber base gets bigger before doing that. I've known some successful channels that didn't do membership. At least I used to watch something called David Folk was a guy on what was called archaeology in the Bible. He was a Egyptologist, but also like a Bible. Not I wouldn't say a scholar because he wasn't, but he's more or less a scholar. The other scholars don't want to call him a scholar because he's technically an Egyptologist, which is not a biblical scholar. So, but tit for tat, he knows just as much about the Bible as he does Egyptology, and that's why he got into Egyptology, is because of his interest in the Bible. So he just ran, I think, strictly when he first started. He called it ministry. It was just every Saturday, for an hour and a half or something, live stream, and he just ran strictly on super thanks, and I admire that, but he did really good. But his material is very good if you're into like biblical studies and stuff. He's a maximalist though. Maximalist is there's minimalist and maximalist when it comes to scholarship and in the Bible and stuff. The ones that believe basically the whole Bible is true is a maximalist, right? Where all archaeology and stuff like this can so your driving fact is that the Bible is true, right? And everything has to prove that the Bible's true. The other side is the Bible. The minimalist is nothing in the Bible is true, and everything in archaeology and stuff like that is going to prove that it's not. And actually, you don't want to be on either of those extremes. You kind of want to be somewhere in between. You want to listen to both sides but you do also want to know where the person's bias is. And most of the scholars end up being more, a little left of being. Most of them are honest. Most biblical scholars are honest. They just give you the data. This is the data of archaeology. This is what we know. And we can't say that for a fact. They're not out to destroy the Bible. It's just the Bible sometimes starts falling, some of the dogmas and stuff starts falling apart. And we realize a lot of the stuff in the Bible, we are in more of a recent inventions. But you have like people like, you have certain ones like Walsh. John Walsh is like, the Bible was written for us, not to us, meaning it was written for us, but it was written for the people at the time. It was written to the people at the time. And if we start thinking that, oh, it was written to us, then we take our modern day mindset and we start making, an old text say stuff that it really doesn't say because we're taking it out of content and we're reading it through a lens of, and John Walsh is actually more on the maximalist side, but he's not a hard maximalist. He tells you where the data is at. So why I went down this is that was about 5 years of my studies was studying the Bible. So, and I ended up on the scholarly side listening to, and so, it was a 5-year journey down that road. So, okay, let me catch up on this. So I don't actually talk about the Bible because it's a hot button topic like politics. That's it. But it's still, you'll hear me mention it from time to time because it was a big part of my life, and that's just how it is. So that's why I quit drinking, though. Honestly, that's why I quit drinking and I quit smoking cigarettes and everything like that, because I wasn't doing it for myself. I had a realization that God was real. And I quit because I had a realization that God was real and that I need to probably change some things in my life. So with that, if anything I got out of it is that I quit drinking and, doing drugs and all that fun stuff. So regardless of what I believe now, it had a benefit. It definitely had a benefit. And like I said, I choose to believe in God because because not the evidence supports it, that belief. It's because I choose to. Because I grew up that way, and I don't want to change that, regardless of what the evidence is put in front of me. I just say, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'll acknowledge that the evidence that you show is correct. I have, yeah. So anyway, I've said all this in the past. Okay, that was a ramble. That's my channel is slow growth channel. That's all it is. But it's a fast growth channel too. Like I said, I have 6%, 5 months monetization is fast actually. So it's not that I should be too worried about that crap. Watch Nomad Push. I'm gonna have to look him up. Nomad Push. You mentioned a few times. 300 subscriber in 1 year. He publishes a video of his journey every 3 days. And his channel has 2.5 million views, 27.5 million views to date. His audience is worldwide. Okay, I'll look up Nomad Push. Yeah. Hey, Tom's there. Actually, we're at 47 minutes. Yeah, okay. I caught up on all the comments there. Yeah. So yeah, I was actually also looking at because some of the people that I use, like Let's Go Cycling is the one I use mostly as like I gauge, because he shows what can be done, right? Because he falls in the same location, same niche, same timeline of when he actually started his channel and stuff like this. He doesn't use heavy thumbnails. He does use some catchy word phrasing, right? But his thumbnails are also noticeable. So when you see one of his thumbnails, you know it's him because he's usually always in it with his bicycle. But he doesn't doctor it up. Usually it's just one of the photos extracted right from his video. And so no description, right? So he's not putting a lot of time. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to say that. But he's not putting a lot of time or effort into, like, I would say I'm doing way too much, because I have all the Strava, Relive, Telegram descriptions of episode and, like a season episode, all this stuff. And all these things take time. And then also on top of that, using AI for thumbnails and using ChatGPT to try and figure out a good title. And so all this stuff is really almost unnecessary when you actually look at his success and stuff. So I like to gauge it because now I can look at him and go, okay, you know what? A lot of stuff I'm doing, I don't need to do. And then you watch his videos, and it's just a dry cut from one scene to the next scene to the next scene. There's no transition of like fade in, fade out. There's no fancy opener, no fancy closing. He's pretty routine on it. Just at the very beginning, he gets out of his tent, starts breakfast, shows the area a little, hops on the bicycle and goes. So. I do use him as like a gauge, It's like sometimes I look at what I'm doing, I'm like, I don't need to do so much, And he puts out one a week, so he's consistently putting out one a week. So I set a marker for myself, which I'm almost to that marker, like a few more months. I'm at 8 months, so in 4 more months, I'm gonna drop back to probably a video a week, because I'll hit the 1 year mark of my goal. And when I set a goal, I need to do that goal. It's just me, So my goal it started just Vietnam, right? And that was my one goal. But then I expanded that goal to include Cambodia, and then expanded it to Thailand. And now it's like, well, around the Cambodia time, I decided to just expand it to 1 year. It was just like, I want to do a daily vlog every day for a year. So now I can make up some of that time. They're like, oh, it's overwork. Well, it's overwork because I make it overwork. If I do the simplicity of like, let's go cycling, I could just videotape everything, put a little opener that says American Hobo at the front, a little ending that just says see you soon, and then just throw it out there. I did that with one of my videos. I don't have to label every place I go, right? Although some people appreciate that. The majority of people that watch my videos, they're not gonna like, oh, let's see where that's at, right? Now I'll keep doing my video. I like the little relive at the end too. I definitely like that. But like Strava, I think out of all the viewers, there's maybe 15 people, maybe a little more, maybe 20 people that are actually to my Strava. So the Strava is almost overwork. That doesn't necessarily there's 20 people that actually like to go in and actually see the exact road that I'm on. So there's a lot of things I can cut back without cutting back the daily, vlog. It's all the extra time and effort that's put into the things that can just, it's that's unnecessary. But then again, I've found a routine. So if I keep my videos to like a half an hour, then it's no big deal. I just need to stop being so trigger happy. Because trust me, you guys, there's a lot of things that I don't video, like that I think is beautiful. I'm like, oh, this is beautiful, or I should get this part of the road. And that was like yesterday. You'll notice the video is only 20 minutes long, but it could have been a lot longer, but it would have just been the video of the road, and stuff like this. And there's another one. It's like the video of the road. It's like, should you add in music? Should you not? You're gonna have both people. Some find the music like relaxing. Some people just like the natural sounds. But by getting rid of the music, you're saving yourself time. You don't have to go through and look for any type of music that you feel that suits it and all that. So raw format. I keep saying I'm gonna go back to raw format. And I know CS, you said you like raw format. But you like the words. You like the listings of the places that I'm at. I kind of like that too, though. I really do. And so finding the routine of when I pull out my camera, I start filming something, pull out my phone, drop a pin. That way I don't have to go over the video trying to figure out where I was at. If I don't drop a pin on it, I forget to, then I don't list it. So there's little routines. Okay. Yeah, okay, let's see, yeah, Tom, you've been working a lot, brother, I know how the work can really whoop your ass, especially when you're doing construction or tiling or anything like that, any type of hard labor stuff, plumbing, all that stuff is just tiring work, but it's good work, There's nothing, blue collar work, when you get paid, at least you feel like, yeah, I'm getting paid for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay, the Google Maps pins are always going to be there. That's something because that's something I do for myself, CS. And having it open for everybody else is just, I don't mind, so. And I learned how to just basically copy and paste the description from the day before, and then just change episode and season, and that's even unnecessary. Like I said, Let's Go Cycling has no description, never did, and he's already almost to a silver play button. uh, yeah, so it's also a good reference on, because one good thing about the travel though is, like one guy said he's going to do it on motorcycle and basically follow my same route around. If you go stay at the hostels that I'm at, you can almost guarantee it's the best priced one, unless it has bed bugs. Honestly, it's go cheap or go home. So. No, I'm never gonna. So, Ali, if you know any way, I mean, outside of just strapping my phone to my chest and just letting it do a live stream the whole time, there is no way I'm gonna get through 7,000 gigabytes. Um, oh, that's okay. That's now that we're at 56 minutes. You guys, if you like these live streams, um, I'm thinking about doing more random ones, just so not advertising and stuff, because each time I try and do a thumbnail, advertisement, all this stuff, it takes up time. But just doing more random live streams. So if I do that, keep the notifications on. That way you guys get a ping that I'm doing one, because right now I do film a little and then I throw it on. If I remember to, like from the road, I film a little and I throw it in the Telegram group. But there's nothing stopping me from just doing a live stream that way too. And if it's just a crappy quick one, I could leave it up for a week and then throw it away if it's just, if it's useless. But I'm not talking about just throw up a live stream with no information in it. Just, no thumbnail, nothing. Just start a live stream and leave it up. So, because YouTube itself will slap a little title on it, which is just the date. That's all YouTube does, because it needs a title, and if you don't put one in, then YouTube puts in the day's date, and yeah. So I might start doing that, just because I got almost 8,000 gigabytes worth of carryover of just because I do the 9 day plan, 2,000 gigs. I only go through a few hundred gigs each month, and then I go through within a 9 day period about 100 gigs. Let's see. Okay, on to Mars. I don't know. You're gonna have finished. Lost 4 pounds the other day. Yeah, a lot of your water weight you're gonna lose. It's funny how much sitting around, how much water retention you end up getting. Going through the mountains, I lost I was like, man, I'm starting to get fat again, and I think a lot of that was just hydrated water or something, because just doing that 3 day push over the mountains and stuff is right off the bat started getting back into shape. So, all right, we're going on an hour, guys. I gotta wrap this up. Pack up my stuff, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and make my trip up to Lor Sitar. If the rain hits me, that's fine. I'm just gonna figure out which hotel I'm gonna be there. And Ali, I'll get a hold of you through the Telegram. We'll figure out a time we can meet up and stuff, and we'll figure out. I know you have some things planned, but right off the bat, I'm gonna get up there, find a spot to probably stay for the night and all that stuff, and I'll get a hold of you through Telegram. And Ali, I think you also have my WhatsApp number, so you can always contact me through that. Shoot me a text first, because my phone is always on. Maybe not tonight, Ali. The reason why is I'll get there, and it's a 60-mile hump, and if I'm starting at noon and it's raining out, I'm going to get there and want to just probably crash out. And so I think, and we're gonna have better weather tomorrow. So tomorrow might be a better day, Ali. But I'll get a hold of you. Not on the, I'll get a hold of you. But before you call me, shoot me a text on on what am I thinking? My WhatsApp. That way I know to turn on my phone because I have it always on do not disturb because of the constant notifications, the bing 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 bing. I don't like that, so I never have it I never have it off do not disturb. It's always on do not disturb. I just manually check everything. So maybe not tonight. Maybe we plan something for tomorrow. I'll be there for a little bit. Like I said, when I get there, Ali, I'm gonna start trying to start planning out my Sumatra trip and stuff like that. What I actually need to do and where I need to go and all this stuff. So I'll be there for a while. Like I said, I got like 3 weeks. About that. With it, if I put a week buffer for things that could possibly go wrong, because it's actually 4 weeks, so I'll put a week buffer just in case. Because most likely I'm gonna have to travel south to catch the ferry over and all this stuff, and what am I gonna do with my bicycle? And I need to talk to Doug about that too, because Doug, I know you gave me all that information in the past. I don't know where it's at right now. So I'll talk to you guys in the Telegram group. All right, guys, peace out. Yeah, and I think I will go ahead and make the journey today, regardless if it rains on me or not. All right, bye, guys.